Hey, it's Brian Leonard. Welcome back to Gladius. Recall last time we, got a hold of our first school, and our first school. It's the only school we have in the game. Trade school. It's one of my Anyway, but we did our first training battle, and today we're going to finish these off and probably do some more, because last time I explained a lot of stuff about the game and how it works, and today I will not have to do as much explaining, so we can just go right ahead and do some damage. On this one, you're supposed to learn about facing, but I talked about that last time. Flanking attacks, you gain extra damage. Back attacks, you gain even more damage, and they cannot block. And as you can see, it's nighttime. After you do a certain number of battles, or after a certain amount of time anyway, you just transition to nighttime, which is interesting. No, I don't want to. Oh, shoot. Dang it, I didn't want to learn. Poopy. So let's just skip that text. And basically it's gonna... Wow, he got a crit. Jeez. So I can go up and hit Ambrosius from the side, doing extra damage. That's what it wants us to do. And I'll go ahead and... Oh, I'm not in the zone today, guys. Alright, so I'm going to empower myself because that is really useful early game. Gives you extra damage, extra defense, accuracy, and damage. So I hit more often, dodge more often, and do more damage when I do hit. So, all good. And Ludo's taking some damage here. Your characters can fall in battle, and it's no big deal. They just get healed out of battle. But there are some situations where you don't want your characters to die, and we'll go over that later. But anyway, let's try to get a critical hit on this one. There we go. Boom. Half health in one blow. Do even more damage with Ludo. Might be able to finish. No, we didn't get a crit. Usually I try to go before. I try to play my critical hits so that if I miss the critical hit, I get a yellow instead of a blue. So you'll see me hit. Oh, that one was a little dangerous. I almost got the blue, which would have been a really weak attack. But, and Ludo has quite a bit of defensive affinity, so if Ambrosius here goes for a fire attack, Ludo will be able to dodge it quite handily. Deflect it quite handily, I should say. And basically how it works, 1 point of defensive affinity counts out 1 point of offensive affinity, so it's a 1-for-1 trade. Pretty simple. We'll see more of that as we get into the game, start playing, It'll become evident just by watching. You'll see. But I'm trying to explain as much as I can as we go in.
Feel the rush of the crowd's approval.
It's fantastic. I wish they were always like this.
It depends on how well we battle and what arena we're in. Crowds across the lands cheer for many different things.
Not really, actually. It's pretty much the same. Just get critical hits and you'll get a lot of crowd favor. And a little more money. There we go. Experience. Good stuff. Next battle, as you can see, we got 6% popularity, so we're getting about 3% per battle, which is really good. And popularity is used to unlock certain events, like only popular schools can do certain events, and those events are really fun and really help you progress in the game. So it's important to unlock as many events as you can in order to have a smooth experience in the game. And how do I increase my school's tier? Each time you beat a regional championship and proceed to another region, the tier will change. So simple as that. And you can skip the intros here, but this one's a little different. As you can see, there's boxes in the arena. Boxes! See, dang it, I didn't want to do that either. I'm just flubbing this up. Now, basically, okay, they sum it up here. Attacking from higher ground offers you advantage over your opponent. Basically, when you attack from higher ground like this, there are gaps that are too great. For example, if this was a little bit higher, I wouldn't be able to attack at all because I wouldn't be able to reach. I'm surprised I'm actually able to reach on this one, but yeah. Basically, above this height, you get it's like attacking from the side. Basically, this is like attacking from the back. Attacking from this height about is attacking from the side. I do more damage to them, they do less damage to me, basically. So height advantage just modifies damage. You would think it would modify accuracy, but it really doesn't at all. The accuracy is the same, it's just the damage output. So I'm gonna empower myself, and we're gonna do some havoc with Valens. Let me tell you. Ludo is inherently stronger than Valens, but when Valens powers up, he is much stronger. As you can see, that does a lot of damage, and he's not doing that much damage back. So this is a really easy battle. They're just kind of teaching you about certain things here. So yeah, there are certain arenas with levels. Like this is a pretty simple arena. There isn't much combat advantage like on this slope here. You don't get that much. I don't think there. Well, maybe from here to here there is, but generally speaking, there isn't that much in this arena. There's certain arenas that are built around combat advantage though. So when you see those arenas and fighting them, you gotta pay attention. Because you don't want to end up in the low zone and get battered by your opponents, do you? And we got 2 crits in a row. And I shouldn't have said anything. I could have got another one if I was concentrating. And Ludo dodged. Very nice. Dodging left and right. And if you listen to the music, you'll hear that it gets more dramatic when one party is at low health. Basically, when one party drops below 1/4 of their total health combined from their characters, the music will start getting more dramatic. Which is cool. I like that touch. It's like, hey, we almost won, or hey, we're almost dead. You know, kind of mentality. And give a nice solid strike here. Boom! Destruction. If we could have got a crit last round, we would have killed him. But, very good nonetheless. And this is a better view of the arena. And victory music. Old man Eustace just saying there. Eustace, a little backstory on Eustace. He's a good friend of Valen's father, Munio, and basically he was like the assistant in his school. So he's teaching us now how to run a school. Yeah, this is simple stuff like that. It's really nice. It's nice of you, guy. And learn about class relationships. Now this is where the game gets more complicated and more fun, I would say, because now we're going to learn about 2 different classes. We've just been fighting with medium classes, which, you know, they're medium. They're standard humans, basically, I guess you could say. Now we're going to learn about heavy classes and light classes. And I guess I can start explaining it while loading. It's like a rock, paper, scissors. No, I want to know why that guy's. Yes, we'll learn about that. Watch out for Julius. Okay, so basically, they give us some crates here. Basically, this guy here, he is a heavy type. And heavy types do a lot of damage to medium types. Basically, heavy types get an attack bonus against medium types, and they get an accuracy bonus. So that is not good for our heroes here, because we're both medium types. So he's going to do a lot of damage, but we should be able to team up, and with the hill advantage as well, we should be able to take him out. Not a big deal. And then our friend over here is a light type. Light types are really good against heavy types. They don't get as much of an attack bonus, but they get a huge accuracy bonus, because heavy types are usually pretty defensive as well. Like, since you're in here, it's really hard to hit them if you don't get critical hits. But light types can just pierce through that defense and get a lot of attacks off, and I think they gain defensive bonuses against heavy types too, so that they can block heavy types attacks more easily. But they get wrecked by medium types. Medium types get a very large damage penalty and an accuracy penalty against medium types. So just be warned that as a medium type, you will have easy time killing light types, hard time killing heavy types. And then there's more classes than light, medium, and heavy, and we'll go over those as we encounter them, of course. But those are the 3 basic types of gladiators in the game. As you see, generally speaking, light types are faster, higher initiative, higher movement. So they get around the battlefield faster, and they do a little less damage. They're mostly they're all about mobility and like flanking the opponent. So I'm gonna attack from below here, and I'm still gonna do a buttload of damage. Like, look at that. Ugh. And Ludo's gonna finish him off here. Look at that, just meaty damage. Let's get some havoc in here. Oh yeah. At this point in the game, even though this battle is fun, oh jeez, the damage. The battle is decently exciting, but the game definitely gets a lot more interesting as you start getting more skills than just strike. So, if you're finding this boring, it will get definitely more interesting. If you saw the teaser, I was using a bunch of different skills on all my gladiators, and yeah. So Julius here is going to be doing a lot of damage to us, like, yeah. we got to do a lot of damage back. Now we empowered ourselves here, so we should be able to do good damage, flanking included. And heavy types have a lot more HP than medium types or light types, so they take a lot more punishment. They're basically like tanks. But, yeah. They also do the most damage. It's just... that's why I like heavy types. I like heavy types because they just do a ball of damage. So I'll be getting a lot of heavy types in this game. Oh! Okay, there's the first blue hit. As you can see, that barely did any damage. Now, I wish we could show off our Affinity attack, but we don't quite have enough yet. Unfortunately. And we'll kill him here, and very good. We have taken down the heavy gladiator. Although he hurt us quite a bit. And as you can see, it's morning, I think. And these people are here all the time. And don't look at the crowd. The crowd animation is horrible in this game. But, yeah, that's just something we can forgive and forget, right? So as you can see, battles go pretty quick in this game. If you know what you're doing, you know what you're fighting. So, let's keep going on. This one they teach you about Affinity. Oh yeah, this one's weird. They make Ludo on the enemy team, and Ludo kind of just automatically goes. So you'll see an example of Affinity use here, and we'll kind of see that. We'll play along with this one. No, go on. We've come this far. So basically, what he means by that is your swords, your equipment, your weapons, and your accessories can get affinity power. And if they add up, you know, they add up. If they don't add up, the weapon is superior. So like, say you have an accessory with 15, like water affinity. Basically, there's water, wind, fire, and ground. Those are the 4 basic ones. There's other ones, but that kind of spoils stuff if I talk about them. Yeah, so say you have like an accessory with 15 earth, but you have a sword with like 5 fire. The fire, you'll have fire affinity because your weapon outplaces the accessory. The accessory can add on, but cannot replace your weapon's affinity. So that's something to keep in mind. And Ludo's weapon doesn't have affinity; he has an accessory with affinity. So there's that. And Xero favors me. It's the hair. I think Xero is the god of fire in this game. And he's just showing us the attack here. Offensive affinity. It's basically saying what I said before in the first video about affinity. So we'll be getting a half bar. He's going to want us to charge up 4 times. So we can get our attack. So I'm just going to hit it right away. If you're being lazy and you want to get an attack out faster, you can just hit it right away. And, oh, I'll show something else off. If you hit A here, like if you hit B, if you hit a different button later on, it'll cancel out the movement. And you see I got a blue attack even though, like if I hit this, like there's not really much time after the crit, but if you accidentally hit another button after the main button, it will count as a blue. If you hit the wrong button, it'll count as a blue, you know, that kind of thing. Alright, and now we have the Fire Affinity attack 1 charge up. As you can see, his defensive affinity is blinking. That means that is going to get canceled out. Our Fire Affinity attack is going to get canceled out because he has over 40 points of defensive Fire Affinity. And we have 40 points of attack. Basically, you can store up to 100 points of either. And, yeah, that's how it goes. And like I said before, 1 point of offense cancels out 1 point of defense. As Eustace is saying right now. And, well, like how weapons take priority in offensive affinity, your armor takes priority in defensive affinity. And then your helmet and shield can add on to that, and your accessories. So you can get a lot more defensive affinity. It's not uncommon to see a gladiator with like 20 offensive affinity and like 50 defensive affinity points. Which means every time he attacks, he gets 20 offensive affinity. Every time he gets hit, he gains 50 defensive affinity. So it's really easy to defend yourself from one type of affinity in this game. But it only works against, like, for example, if you have fire defensive, it only works against fire. Like, fire isn't, like, weak to water and stuff like that. Those kind of relationships don't really exist. They kind of do later. We'll see more of that. There's a lot of later stuff that we'll see. The game gets gradually more complicated as it goes along, which is really interesting. It starts you off with a lot of basic stuff, but then it gains more complicated as it goes on, which is pretty cool. It's one of my favorite things about this game. And I like how Teofil's just sitting there like, hey, come on, fight me. Come on. We're not done yet. Alright, so we finished the 5 training battles. Now it's time for our exam. Basically, this is our first real battle. And we're going to be fighting against a light, a medium, and a heavy type. So it's going to be 2 on 3. Now you're thinking to yourself, okay, they got a heavy type, and they got a medium type. Like, they have better stuff than we do. Well, you'll see here that that's not all that matters. And you'll see that you can be better than the game, basically. Better than what you should be. And this is unskippable, I believe. Because there's a cutscene.
Now you must show what you have learned in competition.
Here we go.
This is for you, Father.
For Munio!
This is our entrance into... This basically is our official entrance into the...
For the pride of the skull!
I don't even know what this world is called, but I don't think they ever really give it a name. But whatever this world's called, official entrance exam.
Imperia.
Now, I'm going to stand on the top boxes. Ludo's probably going to die, because he's going to have the medium and the heavy fighting him. But, that's okay. Now, one thing I didn't talk about, I'll talk about it when I get on my turn. Couple strikes, not doing too much damage. Julius is going to do a lot of damage, though, and I'm going to take a drink. One thing I didn't talk about, like, for example, if we use Empower Self, I'll talk about it when it's unbalanced next turn. But he's got a little glowy around his head, number 1. Oh, you can see it here. Okay, so above his bar you see a green triangle with a plus. That means he has a positive boost. You can go see that in the status effects here. Empowered Self. So he has the Empowered Self boost. And you can see it raises the accuracy and defense by a lot. A lot. So it's really good. And there's also red negatives for negative status effects. And basically you see the little glow around his head. That is a visual representation of a buff or a debuff. Basically, it's usually affecting the head. There's usually like a cloud of something around the person's head. Like if they're poisoned, it's like a green cloud. If they're stunned, it's like a blue cloud. And yeah, we'll get into more status effects later. There's not really that many status effects this game, but as long as Ludo's alive, we're going to keep wailing on the heavy type here, because the heavy type is more dangerous by far. And plus, we don't want to give him the facing advantage. We don't want him to be side attacking us. I can handle him side attacking us, but the heavy, ugh. And the light type is going to get a back advantage here. So Ludo's just getting massacred, unfortunately. But Valens can probably kill this guy in 1 hit. That's right, folks. 1-hit KO already. Jeez. You're going to be seeing a lot of 1-hit KOs later in the game, because eventually you guys just get really powerful. And he tried to block that one. As you can see, he was going for the blocking animation, but since I got a critical hit, it went through anyway. It's very interesting to note. And Ludo is getting massacred. That's okay. Like I said, it's all part of my plan. Ludo's going to be the meat shield. Valens is going to do all the damage. And there we go. Good hit on Teofil. Teofil and Julius is almost dead, actually. So, you can see there's 4 tiers that go up on the side. I lost initiative plus. I believe the bottom one is extra movement speed. Middle one is extra affinity when you attack. You get extra affinity points. Like you can see, Ludo has a little bit extra affinity points. And then the third one from the top is extra initiative, so you move faster. And the top one is extra critical strike damage. This is really good if you can get the crowd up that far. So I guess one more thing to show is if you hold right, if you hold left, the L button, you get to see how many moves, the different moves you have in the list for each thing, which is really nice. If you have a lot of moves in one list, you can check out which moves you have, or you can just hit up and down on the D-pad to go between them. No big deal. But if you hold right, Basically, this is a line of sight. For ranged characters, which we haven't seen any yet, but there are characters with range attacks, and if the line of sight here, like for example, if we go right here, the line of sight is yellow, and you see the yellow box around the box. Basically, that means he can't attack this square because there's something in his way. He can't attack this square because the person's in his way. Person's in his way. And you kind of get a feel for like what blocks certain characters. Like I can shoot here, but I wouldn't be able to shoot here. I wouldn't be able to shoot here. I wouldn't be able to shoot over here at all. Back here is fine. These blocks block off this area here. And also, that big list on the left is the turn order. Without any adjustments, like for example, some people can raise initiative, and if you get the crowd bonus, that changes. But generally speaking, that's pretty much the turn order. So you can see that. And of course, the blue guys are us. Red guys are the enemy. And yeah, the names are the names. So anyway, let's go back to striking, and we'll hit Julius one more time. We might actually be able to get a fire affinity attack off. Nope, and we didn't get a crit, but we killed him anyway. Very nice! Fall down, you Centurion, with your hammer. Oh, he went inside the block. That's okay. Animation in this game isn't super crisp, but it's good enough, I would say. We'll hit Teofil again. As you can see, his little halo around his head is gone, meaning his buff is gone. But I'd rather have 2 turns of attack at this point than 2 turns of defense. Now, see, he cancels out. He has 28 points. Oh, right, each circle is 20 points, right. My bad. So I have 40 points of attack. He has 28 points of defense. And I'm going to hit through with 12 points of attack. Or I could just do a normal strike and kill. So I'm going to do that. Oh, and I missed, and he blocked it. Good. Good stuff. Affinity attacks cannot be blocked, which is an interesting point as well. So if you need an attack that can't be blocked, that's good. As you can see, Valens has air affinity, but he doesn't have air affinity attack, so he can't even use his air affinity offensively at this point. Still useful defensively. You don't need any skills to harness your defensive affinity, which is pretty nice. And now he has too much defensive affinity to be affected by my fire attack, so I'm not even going to go for it. Now the AI is kind of dumb and doesn't really recognize when they can't hurt you with affinity, so that is something. But victory is ours! And we have passed the exam. 130 denarii, Imperia talisman, and Ludo has gained a level. That's what that up arrow means. And here you can see more of the stats. Stats you didn't see in the game. I guess the HP went up by quite a bit. Basically, it works like it's an interesting system because every level, it doesn't go up by like a percentage. It looks like every stat's kind of like doubling, which it is because basically your total stat is like they have a base stat level, and then that's times by the number of levels that they are, and that's what they get for stats basically. So as you can see here, certain things went up. It's mostly doubled. Some things didn't double. You know, some things did double. And job points, as you see below, that is something we're going to learn more about in a little bit here. But level 2 is definitely way more powerful than level 1 if you look at all the stats. So let's continue. We got the talisman, and here is our goal screen. Oh my gosh, look at all these things we got to fill in. This is the progress of the game, basically. We're in Imperia right now. We can see all the names. Nordog, Steps, Expanse. There's the city Keltha, where the high games are held. And basically, you can't see what these things are yet, naturally. But we can check out what everything is here. Every region has a number of towns, which are shown by these lock symbols. Like, for example, this is Purgos here. And I don't have enough league cups to qualify. This is the championship, but each town has these interesting badges here, like Glory of Imperia, Gift of Perseverance, and Honor of the Valkyrie. These 3 things, there's specific leagues that give these badges, and you have to defeat those leagues to enter the championship as well. It's more than just the tournament, so keep that in mind. And every region has a talisman, which allows you to participate in the games there. Basically, is what this area is. So that's all there is to it. And that's basically our progress for the game.
Don't look now, but I think we made a couple of fans with our performance here. Quite lovely ones at that.
I hate to break it to you, but those are channelers of the High Sect, priestesses of the Affinity gods. They're not here to fraternize with us.
Hello, we are Sisters of the Order of Aetius. We have watched you fight, young warriors. You are most impressive.
Thank you.
I see you fight under the flag of Munio's school.
Yes, my friend here is the son of the great Munio. We're carrying on his school's tradition of excellence. And he is a most powerful warrior, just like his father.
Ludo, please.
Ludo, please.
Munio was not only a great warrior, he was a hero to the people of Imperia.
Yes, and his connection to the Affinity gods was strong and true.
How do you two know so much about my father?
Let's just say that the members of the High Sect are fans of the games.
We wish much luck to you both. May you prove worthy successors to the man whose school you now lead.
See? I told you they were fans.
He was wearing the amulet. I hope he understands the responsibility that comes with it.
I hope you're right, sister.
I hope you're right, sister. I hope you're right.
Channelers are overplayed in the storyline. They're set out to be these awesome arcane powerhouses, but they kind of suck. So, but I just one of my grievances with the game. Anyway, blah 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 blah. Just telling us stuff that I've already explained. Yeah. Okay, so Ludo has grown to second level. So this is our school interface. You can see how many empty slots we have. For example, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 empty slots, so we can get a total of 8 gladiators as an amateur school. You unlock more slots. You can unlock up to all of these slots, actually, by the end of the game, which is pretty interesting. There's a bunch of different lists here. We can see our journal, which is kind of Valen's entries about life. I can go over that in the end game. It's not really that interesting. Badges, rogues gallery, stats, affinities, frequent questions. These are all the things you see in the loading screen. So if you ever wanted to, like, oh, what did that one thing say? You can go and search that here, which is pretty nice. And then let's go to our gladiators. We can see his stats. See his equipment. Put room for our school to grow, yes. For example, you can see a legionnaire like him. He starts with a short cape of Machera, which is level 1 sword. There's lots of different things. For example, swords give you accuracy, defense, and power. Basically, and it has no affinity, some information, and the classes that can hold it, and all that kind of deal. We don't have a shield, so we can't see that. We got some medium armor. Sarin infantry armor. We got the badge of X0, which gives us 10 to our fire and offense and defense. Balance has the air one, otherwise he has the same exact equipment. Alright, so if we go to Ludo's skills, we can start earning some dodge, earning some stuff. On the right is skills you've already learned. On the left is skills you can learn. Each skill has a different JP cost. Basically, as you level up, you get a certain number of job points. Up until like level 5, you get like 10, I think, and then after that, you get 15 per level, which is really nice. And then affinity skills, like I said, allow you to use your affinity attacks. So, for example, we can go to Valens. He starts with 5 because he's the main character, and I'm gonna get him the air affinity attack. Yeah, I know, but I do have air affinity. It does give you plenty of warnings when you're about to do something stupid in this game, which is really nice. But I do have an air affinity, so. Alright, so he's got 15 job points. There's a lot of skills we can learn. I'll go over kind of my favorite ones. Like, for example, Riposte, one of my favorite ones, and Counterattack. And basically, if the enemy misses, you would just attack him for free. I like innate skills, basically, are my favorite. But I think I'm going to get Combo Attack 2, just because it's a really powerful move to have early game. So go ahead and get that. And there we go. You can see, okay, so also you can see the current amount of XP, which is the 4 green squares, and then the yellow arrow is the amount of XP needed to the next level. So that's pretty self-explanatory. But before we do any other battles, which is what we're going to do next, I would like to get some more gladiators, of course. More gladiators is always good. Temporary blah, 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 blah. Okay, so basically, the number on the top represents the amount of denarii required for a permanent hire of this character. The number at the bottom is a temporary hire. You get to hire them for one battle. They're computer controlled. You know, it's like oh, Quinerius requires 25 popularity. I want to get this guy, number 1, because he is good. He is my favorite guy, probably in the game. Oh, no, he's not. I don't know what I'm talking about. But Peltas are really good. Okay, so it's a new type of gladiator. We haven't seen before. Support type. Support type is archers and Peltas, kind of. Ranged units, basically. They stand far away, throw stuff into the battle, and do lots of damage. So they're really nice. They're one of my favorite classes. But right now I want a Secutor, which is a light type. Very good. Very good. We'll see him grow. And gonna recruit him permanently. And could get Lampolo, but not needing him right now. No, in fact, it'd be a bad thing to get him right now. As you can see here, we've unlocked most of the things in here. We can take the Agony of Saturno, Civil League of Purgos, and Purgos Communists. You can take this. This gives you 3 cups, but you still need to beat another league. And this is a really hard thing to do early game, so I'm not going to do it. So I'm going to do these 2 leagues. The Civilist League is the easier one of them, I believe. Actually, you know what? I like the first battle on this one. This is a really easy battle to do. Triconium. Blah, 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 blah. And this one takes 3 gladiators, so we have 3 now. And we're fighting 3 enemy secutors. And these are light types. We have 2 medium types. One that's level 2, so this is just going to be a mop. This is just going to be disgusting is what this is going to be. Secutors are really good at pleasing the crowd. And, like, basically they get a counterattack that doesn't do damage, but they please the crowd for you. And they lower the enemy initiative. Like, they humiliate the enemy if the enemy misses. Which is kind of funny. I think it's pretty interesting. So this is our first normal battle. Like, not training, not anything. Which is pretty cool. So I'm going to send Cersei up here. Cersei's my man. I always get Cersei. Every playthrough. Except when I'm playing as Ursula, because I can't get Cersei. Really. And wow, you're going to get a crit the first hit. You're kidding me. Let's get our empowered self going. Extra defenses. And Ludo's going to come up here and help fight with Cersei. Secutors are also really good at getting taking advantage of combat. Or, what am I trying to say? Taking advantage of facing. That's what I'm trying to say. They do really good at facing advantage. At this point, Secutors really... Level 1 Secutors are just horrible as far as damage goes. But they do get a lot better. And dodge. And we're going to get some meaty damage off on this guy. Well, we could... no, let's just get some damage off. Ludo and Valens are going to have a cakewalk taking these guys down. And Cersei doesn't do that much damage, but... any gladiator you have in the fight will get a lot of XP, and every other gladiator that you have in your school will get a little bit of XP. Like, they get 10% of the XP if, like, they're not fighting. I think it's like 10 or 20 or... It's not that high, but, you know, you get XP. But it's always good. I like to play it so that everybody, like, kind of levels up at the same time. Just have a school of all same level gladiators, because your average level determines the level of your opponents, basically. So it's like if Valens levels up after this battle, you'll probably see level 2 enemies, and Cersei's gonna have a hard time. But until he levels up to level 2, that is. But as for now, it doesn't really matter. Basically, what I want to do is get enough money to get Quinerius, and then we're probably gonna leave this town and go to other towns, because basically I'm free to roam wherever I want in the region now. But I want to do some battles here first. And we should be able to take this guy out. Boom. Very nice. He's going to try to block, actually. And what's interesting with blocking is that, for example, you saw him turn towards Ludo. If they're side facing you and they're about to block, they will change their facing to block. So that is a way to adjust facing, which is kind of odd. You can't adjust facing by letting them block. As weird as this seems. Oh, he has running attack? Oh, I forgot how good you are. Okay, this is our first non-strike move. Attacking move. You ready for this? We get a new type of bar. It's called Power Meter. And basically, it's just a combination of buttons that you have to press in order. And the bar, it kind of counts down. Like the amount of time you take. You know, you start off in the red zone. If you get it done while you're in the red zone, you get a critical hit. If you get it done while you're in the yellow, yeah. And, yeah. So, do my button combos. And if you screw up any of these buttons, you get a blue. So it's really intense. Especially later game when some of these have very little time for them to do them. But, I do like those kind of button mashing things. That's what I'm talking about. This game gets a little more interactive as you play. More than just, you know, swinging the sword like that. And Ludo is going to come over here and do some massive damage. And I didn't show off... Oh, yeah. Well, I have combo attack. I could show off combo attack. I kind of want to do that. Show off combo attack. After this battle, I'll probably end the video off, so... I probably could have killed him with running attack, actually. But, didn't want to do that. Now, as you saw, running attack costs 1 skill point, so I could technically cast this every turn. So it's good if you like run out of skill points and you're like, okay, I still need to have an attack that does good damage. So you can do that. That's what it's useful for, in my mind. Okay, gonna pass. I want Ludo to just do combo attack just so you can see what it does. Come on. I know you're fast, but this is ridiculous. Alright, there we go. Alright, combo attack 2. As you can see, we get a whole buttload of affinity for doing this. Because like I said, you get 1 charge of affinity for each attack. So it's really good. And then you get a combo meter, which is basically like 3 strike meters that go a lot faster. And generally speaking, I'll miss 1 of the 3. But pretty nice. Pretty good stuff. And we get a lot more money from this one, jeez. That was almost how much Cerberus cost. But anyway, I think I'm going to end it off here. So thanks for watching this episode of, what is this game? Gladius. And join us next time as we do some more battles and finish off Purgos for now. We'll come back later and finish it off, don't worry. But, yeah. So thanks for watching. Brain Lord signing out. Have a good day.